They're everywhere. All living things contain high spin elements. All of them. There's nothing. You can go out there and drag in a tree, and in a few short hours I can show you, right before your eyes, that this is so. There's huge deposits of these materials all over the western United States, probably all over the world. I've traveled to 6 different places. The Native Americans are fully aware of this being of healing quality. Not 3, not 5, but all 6 contain incredible concentrations of these high spin elements that by utilizing old technology from the 10th to the 16th century, we can bring forth in a blink, and they are of tremendous importance to us. In old alchemical text, you'll understand the terminology called ethereal materials, or ethereal bodies of materials, or seeds of metals. That's what they're referring to as what's now termed high spin elements. There's been many that have walked before that have lasted all over the world with all these amazing promises, collecting huge sums of money to bring these materials to the masses. They've forgotten a couple of little key things that shouldn't have been forgotten, and that's intent and will. These materials are a mirror of your intent and the will that drives that intent. The program or personages that you come in contact with regarding these materials and their usefulness are going to mirror exactly where you're coming at in regards to these materials from within yourself. In other words, if you've got a heart that is full of less than it should be, you're going to end up with a beaker full of way less than it should be. It's pretty simple, and you can watch it happen right in front of you. There's a point in time when all of a sudden you found that you're not the same individual you were before. It is quite remarkable. You can actually put a finger on and identify what this change is, and when it takes place, it's different with all people. The point is that the work has continued quietly all these years. I've lived basically like a little hermit in a tiny little cabin in the forest, running my place. He knows how I live. And basically my life is no longer my own. It basically revolves around my work. And I've been charged with teaching individuals to simply produce these materials for themselves, by themselves, for themselves, utilization and that of their families. They're remarkable tools. I've been for a long time doing this quietly here and there, but I've been kind of come up against a point in time where it needs to get out elsewhere. If unmolested, I would have continued to live in my little abode in the forest for years and years and years and years, and that is the truth. I've had to go through a lot to get here today.
Speak up, Tony.
9 months ago, I got a call in the dark from some friends who wished my participation. This incredible water that I've been aware of for a long time but never had my hands on, from Perfect Science, Ion W. Cherry. And they were coming to my community to do a speaking. I had no desire to go there meant people, whole bunches of them. An hour before the meeting was to begin, you couldn't have drugged me there with mules. I mean, no way. All my friends go, oh, come on. I was worshiping that I can't even begin to describe. It was incredible. And in a blink, you could not have gotten me there. And that basically is where my involvement with this term energetic was began. Got to meet Ion and Terry, a little bit of the gang, so to speak. There was no mistaking the man's passion. It was incredible. When he did his demonstrations, it was just a small little group. It was beautiful. You could not mistake the passion within the man. And I've only run into that sort of passion once or twice before in my life, and it was from great individuals. And again, when I shook his hand at the end of the evening, I was again filled with this incredible warmth that I had difficulty describing. It was so beautiful. But several nights later, some friends called up and says, Johnny, we would like you to participate with us in this adventure involving these waters. They wanted me, because of my background in alchemical work and understanding of energy, to do the hands-on work with the materials themselves. Well, I jumped at it. It was pretty interesting. And it began a pretty interesting experience dealing with what is termed the energetic waters. I live in a community where I'm surrounded by several thousand people who are all, for some degree or another, on a journey of enlightenment. Some call it madness. And I thought, oh, well, geez, we'll just do this a little differently and get around all that. Boy, was I in for a mistake. And here I found myself doling out the madness and the chaos, and it was like, oh gosh, what am I doing? Came a point where I had to come to face with a lot of my own judgments. I had every opportunity to deal with judgment every single day. It's like I watched people whom I thought I knew all of a sudden become somebody that I didn't have a clue that existed. And then a few weeks later, blow through it and become somebody that was beautiful beyond belief. It was just incredible. But during this time frame, while this change unfolded, I got to deal with all my judgments, and they gave me plenty of things to be judgmental about. I mean, it was amazing. But at that point in time, I finally came to an understanding of a healing effect that these waters have upon the people that come in contact with. It's like we all present to the world around us a facade that we wish everybody to understand us as being so. Although all of us know darn good and well that what we present to the world is nowhere near, in most cases, what lies within. Well, these waters have a tendency of peeling that away, leaving it nice and exposed to where you can then manifest for yourself exactly your mirror image of where you are within yourself. And that's where it gets really interesting. Very much so. I mean, I went through as much unpeeling as everybody else did. And I've come to a pretty good place within myself. But that's been my observation with these waters and with the high spins. We found since that there's an interesting harmony that occurs when these waters are utilized along with the high spin elements that I know so well. And since then, Terry and some of her scientists have agreed to begin doing some serious research into these materials. And thus far, there's been a little bit of data shared, and there's more to come. But the whole point of my being here was to basically pry me up out of my box and come and share with you all just a couple of personal experiences involving, well, basically a potential journey that it's up to each of you to take. I'll tell you this, and I'll tell you clear, when you step upon that journey, you're in for a wild ride, but it'll be all right, because there is another side. When you blow out that other side, you'll never look back. And that's what the waters have given me. They've given me freedom to stand here before you all today and speak my truth to you all, even though, oh my God, I was scared shitless to do so. I mean, I had never been on an airplane before in my life, and yet I felt driven enough to do so, to be here. I could never be amongst a group of people like this before, yet I felt driven enough to do so. And God, this has been an incredible group. I've enjoyed so many of you so well, and I hope to see you all again. But the point is that if any of you has a curiosity to learn about some of these things, I'm more than willing to help. I know it's not for you all, but I know that there's one or two or maybe three of you amongst you that wish to learn more of these things and do them for yourself. And that's where I come in. Just merely get a hold of Raphael, and I'm more than happy to share with you any of the experiences that I've learned at any time. Because these materials need to get out. They need to be in the people's hands so that they can do for themselves rather than depend on everybody and their brother to do for them. It's a matter of personal responsibility and taking charge of where you go within your life.
So are these high spin materials, are they actual products, or are they?
I don't recognize that term.
Okay, are they actual, like, waters?
My background in these studies is traditional alchemy. The terminology that I recognize and use is that of the ethereal body of living things, or that of sea